it's Monica with That's So Monica, and I am so excited to be taking over the Sew Your View page. As you can see, we are going to be sewing the Tecoma blouse. I was able to finish her up and work out my kinks, and now we're going to sew my second one, but I'm going to sew it with you guys. So stay tuned for more. To start, you will need to download the PDF pattern, and you can find that in our link in our bio on the Sew Your View page, the link below if you're watching YouTube, or you can go to moodfabrics.com and click on Mood Society, and you would be able to look up the Tecoma blouse and print the pattern right there. So I've gone ahead and print my pattern. I've also gone ahead and cut my pattern. So I just want you guys to follow along, and we're going to take our time with this. The first piece you will need is your blouse piece, okay? So this is your main blouse, so I've gone ahead and cut it. And because my fabric is almost the same size, I can't really tell what's wrong side to the right side, I've gone ahead and marked a small X on here so that I would be able to see it, okay? So you go ahead and you do that with your fabric if you need to. The second piece you'll need is your back piece. So you want to make sure you do that as well. And I've gone ahead and marked those X's already. Then you'll need your collar. This is your shawl collar. And you'll need your front peplum piece. Make sure you have that cut out. And I've marked it as well. And then you'll need your back peplum piece. And then you'll need your ties. So I've gone ahead and cut my ties. So yes, I am doing it in this really pretty mustard color. I have a pair of pants that I love, and I had some fabric left over from this, so this is what I will be using. So I have my pattern instructions here. You'll also need your pins. Definitely want to have your pins, scissors, your sewing machine, and the notions that you will need for this particular pattern are a small button and some small elastic just to hold the insides, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you'll be doing is you'll be starting with your ties, and what we're going to do first is mark your tie. So I went ahead and I marked it. You can see the X right here. But if your fabric, you can definitely differentiate between the wrong side and the right side. You don't need to do that. But the reason I'm doing it, it'll make more sense coming up in the next few steps, okay? So you're going to take your one tie piece. I'm going to go ahead and set the other one to the side. And you're going to go ahead and fold right sides together, okay? Your right side's on the inside. Now, what you can do is you can press this. So I'm going to go ahead and press this on my iron and just press it down so that I know that it's even on both sides. So I've gone ahead and folded my piece. And now what I'm going to do is press it. So that I can show you, I am pressing it on my mini ironing board, okay guys? And I'll be using my new xoxo iron. It gets really good steam. And I love this pop-up feature, guys. Woo! Getting a facial. So you're going to go ahead and just go all the way down and just press this all along. So next you're going to go to your sewing machine and sew your tie pieces. Make sure to keep an open edge at both ends. After you're done sewing, you're going to trim your seam allowances and clip your corners. And then when you go, you're going to turn it right side out and make sure to push out those corners to give it a clean finish. And then you can press at the end. With your back piece, you're going to take one of your front pieces of the blouse and you are going to pin them together. I've chosen to do a front seam as it calls for in the pattern, but you can choose to finish your garment the way you choose. I'm showing how I marked to make sure that I was sewing on the right side. I love sewing a front seam. It really finishes up the garment, and sometimes I don't like using my serger all of the time. It's a little bit more steps, but it does make the garment look clean on the inside. So now you're going to go ahead and attach your second piece to the back, and you're also going to do this using a French seam method. So as you go to add that second piece, what you're going to do is take your tie piece and you are going to actually place it on the front of your fabric. Because we are doing a front seam, we have to position it there. If you were not doing a front seam, you would of course have right sides to right sides and sandwich the tie piece in the middle. But with the front seam method, we have to add the tie piece right on top of the right side of the fabric. Go ahead and place your pins, make sure that everything is secure, and then you're going to sew it on your machine. I had to also try to remember that I was doing a French seam so I didn't make a mistake. Make sure to check your ties that they're nice and secure, and then go ahead and trim, and then you're going to finish up your French seam. Long sides together, you're going to pin your shoulders and sew them with a French seam. So for me, it was important when I went to do my shoulder piece that they matched up. For whatever reason, when I cut mine, my front piece was just a little bit longer. So I went in on one of the edges just to make sure that it matched up with the shoulder piece. And that's what I'm showing you right here. So now you're going to head over to your machine and you are going to sew your shoulder piece by using a French seam. Make sure to trim those seams and clip in to that corner. Of course, you're going to press your seams out on both sides, and then you're going to sew the remainder of that seam to finish out your French seam. Now we're going to work on our neck ends. We're going to pin them together, right sides facing for this one. And then we'll head over to our sewing machine to sew it all up. After you're done sewing your neckband, you want to make sure to give it a good press. Press that seam open, and you also want to press it flat. Well, since I was at my machine, I decided to pin the neck of the shawl collar to the neck of my blouse, and then I went ahead and sewed it in place. Now this one you're actually doing a regular stitch, and you are sewing it right sides to right sides. And then once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and sew it all up nicely, and then give it a good press. So now we're going to work on our shawl collar, and what we're going to do is go ahead and pin it at the neck edge, and then you're going to take it over to your sewing machine and you're going to sew it straight down on the neck edge piece only. Go ahead and set your shawl piece to the side after you've sewn it down, and then we're going to add our tie piece to the front. So what we're going to do is pin your tie piece to the right side of your fabric. And then now we're going to go ahead and take our shawl piece and we are going to pin it to the entire blouse, but you're going to start at the seam and then work your way around. Put as many pins as you like to make sure you secure everything in place and that you don't have any puckers. Go ahead and double check that tie area, and then head to your machine and you're going to sew your shawl collar down, and you're going to sew along the entire edge. After you're done sewing your shawl collar, you want to go ahead and trim that seam and then give it a good press on your iron. And while I was at my sewing machine, I went ahead and finished the sleeve edges as well as hand sewed the collar to the neckband. Go ahead and now grab your front and back peplum pieces, and you're going to pin them at the side, and I went ahead and used the front seam method to finish it off. Now that you've sewn that, you want to go ahead and pin your peplum to your blouse. Make sure you match all of your seams, and then once it's sewn, go ahead and hem it at the bottom and you'll be done. So now you're going to finish all your raw edges. You're going to go ahead and add your elastic loop, your button, and then give your entire garment a final press. And guys, guess what? We are done. I really truly love this blouse and can't wait to wear it. As you can see in this picture here, I'm wearing the first one that I made, and I'll be making another one soon. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.